Governor John Hickenlooper announced plans this week to dedicate $100 million over the next 4 years toward making Colorado more bicycle friendly. The funds would be dedicated to connecting Colorado's bike trails, building pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure, and maintaining paths. David, while I think people like all the activity in Colorado, and especially it's a lot of people on bicycles, but $100 million is not chump change. There's a lot of things I think probably a lot of Coloradans like to see $100 million go to. What do you think?
Well, some of these are from dedicated funds for which it's appropriate. Personally, I like it when the government spends things to benefit everyone in general rather than special interests. So bike paths and parks are close to the top of my spending priorities, so I'd say it's great. My concern is the money being allocated by Governor Hickenlooper, the guy who said, how do we wean ourselves off automobiles? There is an element at the extreme end of the pro-bike lobby, which not only is pro-bike, which I am, but also is anti-automobile. And they do things that are ostensibly for the benefit of bikes, but really are more for the purpose of persecuting automobile drivers. And, you know, not everybody can be like John Hickenlooper wants us to be in Copenhagen or Amsterdam, taking a Schwinn bike to the grocery store. You know, some people are older, for example, or whatever. Maybe they don't have the time. And I really worry that Hickenlooper is going to pervert this the way it's been done in Boulder, where you do things to deliberately increase automobile congestion for the trivially small benefits for bikes. You narrow roadways, add pollution, slow down traffic, supposedly under the pretext of being pro-bike.
Eric, are the prophetic words of Dan Mays finally coming to pass here in Colorado with the idea of bicycles taking over everything that is state government?
That's a name we haven't heard for a while. Thank you, Dominic.
You're welcome.
The Dan Mays reference, I think that should be required every few months around this table. First of all, I've been to Copenhagen a couple times. It's a wonderful city. Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs are not going to be Copenhagen. Can we just stipulate that? It's complete cultural difference. I love my bike. It has become my main form of recreation and exercise these days. I love that Colorado is a very fit state. I love that Colorado is a very bicycle-friendly state. But as your question points out, $100 million is real coin. And I'm curious if John Hickenlooper and his cadre are going to be taking their bikes all over Colorado as part of this Building a Better Colorado tour, where they convince people that the state is completely underfunded and Tabor's a complete mess. I do worry about it a little bit given the magnitude of the price tag from a messaging point of view. At the same time, they're trying to convince us of what a fiscal crisis we're in to be able to throw around that kind of money. That said, you know, the more people on bikes, the better, within reason, so that it does not further complicate traffic patterns, as David pointed out.
Susan, few politicians have had the success when it comes to raising money or efforts like John Hickenlooper. He's very good at it. Can he make this happen?
I think he can. You know, I've been critical of Governor Hickenlooper on a lot of issues, but this is Governor Hickenlooper at his very best. And I agree, we're not Copenhagen, and you know, we don't. Just the size of Colorado makes it such that we can't all ride our bikes to the Safeway. But I think announcing it in Las Vegas the way he did, I mean, Hickenlooper is a marketer. He's our marketer in chief, even though he actually has a marketer in chief. He's a supremely good marketer, and to do this at a bicycle event and do it in a way that kind of tries to lure people to Colorado, I think in tourism in and of itself will pay off probably. And you know, I've been up in the mountains a lot lately, and I feel like I'm always going to hit a cyclist. I'm not up there riding my bike up mountains, but I'm that nervous driver who feels like right around the bend I'm going to. And so for the sake of people like Eric, I don't want to hit Eric on his bike, and my kids who love to bike, I'd like to see as many bike lanes as possible just for safety reasons.
Patty, people love bikes in Colorado. A lot of people do it themselves, but people also like driving in the mountains. And if they're seeing space being built for bike lanes and thinking, wait a second, why am I sitting here in traffic while bikes are whipping by me because I'm still in 2-hour waits before Eisenhower? Is there going to be a conflict on this because of there's still a very big love affair with cars in Colorado?
Well, there already is a conflict. Every time you drive or ride in Denver or anywhere else, you're scared to death you're going to hit someone or be hit. So I think this added emphasis and setting up some protective things, I have no problem if people in bike lanes are zipping past the people stuck in cars on I-70 as long as there are still lanes for cars on I-70. And David brings up a good point, which is you still have to accommodate cars. Look at the rebellion we had from rural Colorado only a couple of years ago. You cannot really use bicycles reasonably if you are trying to commute from Cortez to Durango. You might be able to have an interesting day excursion, but it's not what most people are going to need. In rural Colorado, you need to be able to drive. And so I think this is part of an overall state emphasis, not just on bikes, but on roads. But it's fulfilling a lot of the promise that Hickenlooper made when he was mayor that has slowed in Denver. I mean, the amount of money they wanted to put into bike lanes hasn't been forthcoming. But now on a statewide level, I think as long as they balance it, it'll work well. And a good exposure is this weekend, not just announcing it in Las Vegas, but right before Pedal the Plains, which will show that bikes do have a place out on the plains of Colorado too.